India's beverage industry has been a fierce battleground dominated by cola giants, with the iconic red of Coca-Cola and the bold blue of Pepsi ruling for decades. These brands and their extended family of products, Coca-Cola with Thums Up, Sprite and Fanta, and Pepsi with Mirinda, Mountain Dew, and 7-Up, have been deeply entrenched in the Indian market. Each brand has built a loyal following, with Thums Up even emerging as a cultural icon in its own right. These brands have dominated the Indian landscape for decades. However, a new player is reigniting an old legend, stirring up nostalgia and sparking a massive showdown in the cola market. That player, Reliance, and the brand in question is Campa Cola, the legendary drink from the 70s and 80s, making a grand comeback, with Reliance on a mission to change the rules of the game. It's a move that has everyone talking. The re-emergence of Campa Cola is more than just another brand entering the market. It's a calculated strike at the dominance of established players with deep pockets and entrenched networks. But what does this mean for the Indian soft drink industry? And how will Reliance's entry shake up the market? To understand Campa Cola's comeback, let's rewind to the 1970s. Back then, Coca-Cola, which had already established a strong presence in India, suddenly exited the country due to regulatory issues. India was left with a cola void, and that's when Campa Cola stepped in. Produced by Pure Drinks Group, Campa Cola quickly became synonymous with refreshment and style for an entire generation of Indians. The brand connected deeply with Indian consumers, blending the novelty of cola with a touch of Indian pride. However, this era was short-lived. In the early 90s, as India opened its economy, Coca-Cola and Pepsi made aggressive re-entries with their massive resources, strategic marketing, and extensive distribution networks. Campa Cola couldn't withstand the competition and was pushed aside, eventually disappearing from the market. But fast forward to 2023, and Reliance, helmed by Mukesh Ambani, decided to give the brand a second life. The move was ambitious, tapping into nostalgia but with a modern twist. Reliance's entry into the beverage market was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. Mukesh Ambani has a knack for identifying and capitalizing on sectors where Reliance can disrupt the status quo. But why would Reliance enter a cola market dominated by international giants? With India's growing consumption rates and a burgeoning middle class, the soft drink industry is a ripe target. But Reliance's strategy goes beyond simply reviving Campa Cola. It's about building a formidable portfolio in the FMCG sector. To boost Campa Cola's comeback, Reliance strategically targeted India's Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, where brand loyalty to Coca-Cola and Pepsi is weaker and price sensitivity is higher. The aim is to capture market share by offering high-quality cola at competitive prices, banking on affordability and local pride. Beyond Campa Cola, Reliance has started integrating a network of distribution channels that leverage its extensive retail presence, including stores like Reliance Fresh, JioMart, and Reliance Retail. The sheer scale of Reliance's distribution capabilities gives it a massive edge in terms of reach and cost-effectiveness. So how exactly does Reliance plan to turn Campa Cola into a household favorite once again? Reliance's strategy for Campa Cola goes beyond simply reviving a brand. It's about creating an entire marketing ecosystem around it. Campa Cola's unique selling point isn't just nostalgia, but also a highly strategic approach to price, appeal, and positioning. Firstly, the nostalgia factor. Campa Cola is marketed to evoke memories of a simpler era. Its packaging, color scheme, and taste are all designed to remind older consumers of the original drink, giving it a unique emotional connection that Pepsi and Coca-Cola can't replicate. Secondly, the pricing. Reliance is positioning Campa Cola as a more affordable option compared to its global counterparts. By targeting Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, where price sensitivity is high, Campa Cola could attract a large audience that has long viewed Coca-Cola and Pepsi as pricey international options. Thirdly, there's the local angle. While Pepsi and Coca-Cola are global behemoths, Campa Cola has the advantage of being viewed as an Indian brand. This patriotic appeal resonates deeply with consumers who prefer homegrown products, especially in a time when the Make in India sentiment is strong. This patriotic edge gives Campa Cola a unique advantage. But winning in the beverage industry will take more than local appeal alone. Reliance is known for its aggressive market entry strategies, but the soft drink industry isn't easy to disrupt. Coca-Cola and Pepsi have nearly perfected their operations in India. Their well-established networks, brand loyalty, and colossal marketing budgets make them tough to beat. Moreover, maintaining a consistent quality and taste for a drink that relies on local preferences could be a challenge for Campa Cola. If the product doesn't live up to consumer expectations, it could quickly lose credibility. Scaling up nationwide while preserving the brand's nostalgic appeal could be the ultimate catch-22 for Reliance. So, what is catch-22? A catch-22 is when you're stuck in a tricky situation where solving one problem only creates another. Imagine this. To get a good job, you need experience. But to get experience, you need a job. So you're caught in a loop with no way out. In business, catch-22 situations often come up too. For example, Reliance's Campa Cola has to keep prices low to attract customers and compete with big brands like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. But if they keep prices too low, it can hurt profits, making it tough to grow. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of problem. The aggressive pricing strategy, while necessary to penetrate a market saturated with giants, presents a unique set of challenges. By lowering prices, Reliance is taking on the established players, but also setting itself up for potential margin squeezes. The strategy of keeping prices low to attract new customers works well for short-term market penetration, but it may pressure profits if not managed carefully. This pricing challenge doesn't only affect Reliance's profits, it also impacts the small shops and kirana stores that rely on decent margins to stay afloat. In India, small shops and kirana stores are the main sellers of drinks like Campa Cola, but they face a big problem when companies start price wars to attract customers. Imagine a shopkeeper who sells a bottle of cola for 20 rupees and makes a 3 rupees profit on each. Now, if a company drops the price to 15 rupees to beat the competition, the shopkeeper's profit also goes down, making it harder for him to earn. This situation forces retailers to choose between stocking popular but low-margin products or focusing on other items that give them better profits. Lower retail prices mean less profit per unit sold, and many retailers may not prefer stocking lower-margin products, potentially limiting Campa Cola's reach. Reliance's balancing act will be crucial as it enters a fiercely competitive market. The company must keep prices low to attract customers, yet it also needs to ensure that everyone in the supply chain, from suppliers to retailers, earns enough to stay motivated. By leaning on its expansive retail network and logistics capabilities, Reliance has a chance to cut down costs in ways that other brands may struggle to match. This cost efficiency could allow Campa Cola to compete effectively, especially in price-sensitive markets across Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. But let's not forget the industry giants Reliance is challenging. Since the 90s, Coca-Cola and Pepsi have been fierce competitors in India, each vying for dominance through celebrity endorsements, aggressive advertising, and exclusive partnerships with fast food chains and cinema halls. Their rivalry has shaped India's beverage industry, dictating trends and influencing consumer preferences. With Bollywood stars and cricketers as brand ambassadors, both brands have heavily invested in becoming household names. Coca-Cola leaned on the concept of open happiness, while Pepsi, especially in the 90s, banked on youth-oriented campaigns like Ye Dil Mange More. Each brand tried to outdo the other, setting up an epic battle for Indian hearts and taste buds. In recent years, however, the rivalry has hit a plateau as both brands reached saturation in key markets. Campa Cola, a challenger with a nostalgic flair, potentially shifting the focus away from the Pepsi-Coca-Cola duel. Now, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are faced with a unique competitor that may not have their massive budgets, but has deep-rooted cultural appeal. India's cola market wouldn't be what it is today without Parle, which originally created brands like Thums Up and Limca after Coca-Cola left. Thums Up, in particular, has become an Indian favorite, with a unique taste that resonates with local consumers. Even though Thums Up was acquired by Coca-Cola, it still has a strong local identity, which has allowed it to thrive in India. The dominance of Thums Up shows that Indian consumers value products that feel local, even if they are owned by a multinational corporation. Reliance will likely try to position Campa Cola in a similar way, promoting it as a truly Indian brand while leveraging the resources of a corporate giant. The soft drink industry in India is on an upward trajectory, thanks to factors like a young population, growing disposable incomes, urbanization, and a strong aspirational culture. According to industry reports, the Indian beverage market is expected to grow substantially in the coming years, driven by both urban and rural consumption. While colas remain popular, there's a growing trend toward healthier, low-sugar, and natural alternatives. Brands have started introducing fruit-based drinks, low-calorie sodas, and even sugar-free options to cater to health-conscious consumers. As health trends shift in cities, rural areas are emerging as the next big growth opportunity. Rural areas are fast becoming a focus for growth as urban markets reach maturity. With infrastructure improvements and rising incomes, these markets are ripe for brands that can offer quality at an affordable price, precisely the gap Campa Cola aims to fill. Reliance's entry with Campa Cola, therefore, is perfectly timed to capture this expanding market, particularly among consumers who may not yet be loyal to established brands but are looking for a refreshing and affordable drink. In conclusion, Reliance's revival of Campa Cola is more than just the launch of a beverage. It's the beginning of a new chapter in the Indian cola wars. By combining nostalgia, aggressive pricing, and strategic targeting, Campa Cola is set to be a formidable challenger to Coca-Cola and Pepsi. It's a bold move, and only time will tell if Campa Cola can truly disrupt the market. One thing is certain though, Indian consumers are in for an exciting, refreshing battle on the cola front. So what do you think? Could Campa Cola become the new king of colas in India? Let us know in the comments below.